Shapes Around the World, a two-dimensional geometric shapes unit for K to second grade students. Math TEKS. Students use basic shapes and spatial reasoning to model objects in their environment and construct more complex shapes. Students are able to identify, name, and describe basic two-dimensional shapes. Art TEKS. Identify the elements of art including line, shape, color, texture, and form, and the principles of design including emphasis, repetition/pattern, and balance in nature and human-made environments. During this lesson, students will be working with two-dimensional shapes, including circles, triangles, rectangles, squares, special rectangles, rhombuses, and hexagons. Students will be applying shapes to real-life scenarios in their surrounding environment. The learning objective is for students to be able to identify basic shapes and identify its attributes. Students will be able to identify the number of sides of the shapes mentioned before. Lastly, students will be able to compare the similarities and contrast the differences between the shapes taught.
For the engagement of the lesson, the teacher will begin the lesson by engaging students with a book. The teacher will read Shapes That Roll by Karen Nagel. This will deepen their knowledge of two-dimension shapes. Throughout the reading, the teacher will ask questions such as, what does the shape look like? What can you see on the shape that's different between a square, circle, triangle? And also ask the students to show different shapes from the classroom. For the exploration of the lesson plans, the students will be handed a worksheet with the image of a robot. The robot is composed of shapes. Students will create shapes and place them on top of the robot to create a form of a puzzle. The teacher will provide the necessary tools such as robot worksheet, construction paper, markers, traceable mats, scissors, and glue. For the explanation side of the lesson plan, teachers will then announce to the students that they will be learning about shapes in a more detailed form. First, the teacher will display a shape to the class either by drawing it on the whiteboard or using interactive whiteboards. The teacher will ask the students to raise their hands and say the names of the shapes. Second, the teacher will discuss the shape's attributes as a class. This may include, but not limited to, the numbers of sides, angles, and lines, curved segments. Third, the teacher will draw a circle on the whiteboard or interactive board. The teacher will ask the class how many edges does the circle have. After some discussion, the teacher will ask questions such as, what is the difference between a square and a circle? At this point, the teacher will briefly mention to the class that the circle does not have any edges, vertices, since they aren't straight lines or corners on a circle. Lastly, the teacher will continue on drawing more shapes, such as how many sides does a triangle have? Are they straight or curved? How many corners does a triangle have? How many sides does a rectangle have? Etc.
Students will write a brief reflection of what they have learned about shapes. They will then make a table of 2 rows by 2 columns in a box form. First, students will write on the first square the term. This may be a circle, a square, a triangle, or for that matter, any other two-dimensional geometric shape. Second, students will define the shape, including its attributes. This may include the number of sides, if the shape has a straight or curvy edge on the second square. Third, students will draw a picture of the shape on the third square. Fourth, students will have the opportunity to draw a real-life example of that shape on the fourth square. This may include a triangle as a resemblance of a slice of pizza, or a circle as a clock. The teacher will then guide and supervise the students in case any of them have a question or doubt. Students will be working independently in their tables or have the opportunity to sit on the floor. Evaluation. This will be a summative assessment. The teacher will tell students to grab their notebooks. The teacher will then tell the students to create a Venn diagram or a T-chart to compare and contrast the characteristics of the shapes learned today. After the students have finished, the teacher will then discuss with students to make sure they have understood and are able to understand and distinguish the shapes. The teacher will supervise around the classroom to make sure everyone is staying on task.
For the closure of the lesson plan, the students will be asked to get their journals and write 2 things down. One will be to write something new that they learned, and the other one will be a question or comment they might have for the teacher.